imagine that we live in an age of reason, and the global warming alarm is dressed up as science, but it's not science, it's propaganda.
We're just being told lies. That's what it comes down to.
We can't say that CO2 will drive climate. It certainly never did in the past.
If the CO2 increases in the atmosphere as a greenhouse gas, then the temperature will go up. But the ice core record shows exactly the opposite. So the fundamental assumption of the whole theory of climate change due to humans is shown to be wrong.
Man-made global warming is no longer just a theory about climate. It is one of the defining moral and political causes of our age. Campaigners say the time for debate is over. Any criticism, no matter how scientifically rigorous, is illegitimate. Even worse, dangerous. But in this film, it will be shown that there is nothing unusual about the current temperature, that the Earth's climate is always changing, and that the scientific evidence does not support the notion that climate is driven by carbon dioxide, man-made or otherwise. Everywhere you are told that man-made climate change is proved beyond doubt, but you are being told lies. If we look back further in time, before the Little Ice Age, we find a balmy golden era when temperatures were higher than they are today, a time known to climatologists as the medieval warm period.
Allergic to wintertime.
Your name in lights and they can't seem to spell mine right.
Orr's 2006 documentary, An Inconvenient Truth, makes the same point with actual video of ice shelves calving. Which shots have more impact?
And if you were flying over it in a helicopter, you'd see it's 700 feet tall. They are so majestic.
Wait a minute. That shot looks just like the one in the opening credits of The Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's our shot. That's a fully computer-generated shot. There's nothing real in there.
Audiences expect Hollywood to twist fact into fiction. But Gore's documentary does the opposite, using a fake shot to make a real point, that ice shelves are disappearing, and vanishing ice means global warming.
There was one hell of a shot.
It's left to the audience. Can the same created image educate and entertain us about our planet in change?
I'm at the back, professor. A question: what is the secret to things? Is it just make believe? It's not easy. Wish it was.
See, I don't even like to call it the environmental movement anymore, because really it is a political activist movement, and they have become hugely influential at a global level.
It is a story of the distortion of a whole area of science.
Climate scientists need there to be a problem in order to get funding.
We have a vested interest in creating panic, because then money will flow to climate science.
There's one thing you shouldn't say, and that is, this might not be a problem.
It is the story of how a political campaign turned into a bureaucratic bandwagon.
Fact of the matter is that tens of thousands of jobs depend upon global warming right now. It's a big business.
It's become a great industry in itself. And if the whole global warming farrago collapsed, there'd be an awful lot of people out of jobs and looking for work.
A lot of people live in this area. Here's Manhattan. This is the World Trade Center memorial site. And after the horrible events of 9/11, we said never again. But this is what would happen to Manhattan. They can measure this precisely, just as the sun precisely how much water would breach the levees in New Orleans. The area where the World Trade Center Memorial is to be located. If this were to go, sea level worldwide would go up 20 feet.
Where he's misleading is that he gives the impression that this is something that is likely to happen. The likelihood of this is next to nil.
The IPCC report is that the upper limit of sea level rise by the year 2100 is going to be about 23 inches.
That's why Al Gore makes up 20 feet. The truth isn't scary.
Just look at the difference between Greenland's ice melt in Al Gore's scenario when spread out over a century versus what the IPCC projects.
To come up with 20 feet is really grasping.
And then, of course, came Katrina. And then, of course, came Katrina.
As Sharon mentioned, a catastrophic hurricane. The latest stats on this hurricane: winds at 160 miles an hour. It is 100.
But there's a disagreement on why. And there's even more disagreement on if it will be catastrophic or not. The tactics Al Gore uses in An Inconvenient Truth deserve an Oscar. We all have to remember, there's a difference between science and science fiction.
We club stunts. Hey, we club stunts. We in the club, we club stunts. Hey, we club stunts. We in the club, we club stunts. Hey, we club stunts. We in the club, we club stunts. We in the club, we club stunts. Hey, we club stunts. We in the club, we club stunts. Hey, we club stunts. We in the club, we club stunts. Hey, we club stunts. We in the club, we club stunts. Hey, we club stunts. We in the club, we club stunts. Hey, we club stunts. We in the club, we club stunts. Hey. Dumb in my backpack, dumb in my backpack, dumb in my backpack. I go dumb in my backpack, don't know the backpack. SpongeBob, X-Men, Spider-Man backpack. Dumb in my backpack, that's what my stash at. Superman, George, even Blue School backpack. Dumb in my backpack, don't know the backpack.